Click the link in the description below to listen to the full story on our website. When Xiaoyan saw the heavenly evil god self-destruct the ten-eyed demonic statue, his expression changed drastically. This guy has really gone mad. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. Continuing from before, ten-eyed demonic statue, devour heaven and earth. The heavenly evil god let out a low roar. In the next instant, boundless demonic light surged out from his body, gathering behind him and gradually forming a colossal phantom of a demonic god. This demonic god seemed to connect heaven and earth. On its massive body, 10 sinister eyes blinked, each one radiating a terrifying evil fluctuation. The 10 eyes locked onto Mu Chen. At once an endless beam of demonic light shot out, arriving before Mu Chen in a single instant. Mu Chen's great Sumeru Saint Pillar suddenly expanded, turning into a million zhang colossal pillar that smashed fiercely toward the demonic light. However, when it struck, it was blasted away by a terrifying force. Mu Chen was also sent flying tens of thousands of miles as if struck heavily. "Go die," the heavenly evil god roared. The 10 eyes flickered continuously, unleashing wave after wave of destructive demonic light that covered the sky. It was clear he would not stop until Mu Chen was annihilated. Not good. The Flame Emperor and martial ancestors' expressions changed slightly. The heavenly evil god's offensive was simply too ferocious. Just as they were about to intervene, an ancient light suddenly swept in from afar. It resembled a mysterious mirror of profound light, swallowing all incoming demonic beams. After a moment, the demonic light finally ceased. The heavenly evil god looked toward the distance with a gloomy gaze. Mu Chen stood in the air. Behind him stood an ancient figure of light, a figure resembling Mu Chen himself, but with a 5-colored halo behind its head, each color emitting an extremely ancient aura. Upon closer inspection, those fluctuations belonged to the undying body, the endless light body, the primordial spirit body, the night deity, ancient body, and the desolate god body, primordial world body. A deep voice came from Mu Chen. The 4 previous incarnations had merged into one, creating a brand new Supreme Dharma body. This new form combined the strengths of all 5 primordial bodies, mysterious and immeasurably powerful. "Take one of my moves." Mu Chen's gaze turned sharp. He formed seals with both hands. The 5-colored halo behind him shot forward, descending directly above the 10-eyed demonic statue. 5 ancestor demon sealing ring. Light burst from the 5-colored ring, faintly revealing 5 ancient primordial bodies. Spiritual light condensed into flame-like brilliance, pouring down onto the 10-eyed demonic statue. Under this ancient light, the demonic statue let out an ear-splitting roar. The demonic light on its body dimmed, as if it were being melted away. "Devour!" Sensing danger, the heavenly evil god roared. The statue inhaled violently, compressing endless demonic energy into its mouth. "Erupt!" The next moment, a black ocean of demonic energy surged forth, crashing endlessly against the 5-colored halo, blocking the descending flame-like light. Across the Great Thousand World, countless eyes watched the battle through spiritual mirrors. The fight had reached its peak. Killing moves emerged endlessly. However, as time passed, Mu Chen's advantage became increasingly clear. After all, this was his home ground. He could draw upon the power of the world itself. The heavenly evil god suddenly rose into the sky, tearing through space and appearing outside the continent. The 10-eyed demonic statue roared. 100 million demons become Avicii. Demonic hell descends. In an instant, countless demons from the fiend race army screamed, exploding into blood mist that surged upward. The statue devoured it all. Its body then exploded into torrents of demonic energy that spread across the entire Great Thousand World. At that moment, every continent trembled in horror. Those destructive currents swept through space like tidal waves, threatening to annihilate everything. Ha ha ha! Since you want to protect this world, Then I will destroy it entirely." The heavenly evil god's sinister voice echoed through heaven and earth. Chen, the Flame Emperor, and the martial ancestor appeared above the continent. Seeing the endless demonic currents, their expressions turned grave. "This lunatic," said the Flame Emperor. "He destroyed his own ten-eyed demonic statue. He's heavily injured as well." "We must stop him," the martial ancestor said coldly. "Otherwise, the Great Thousand World will suffer catastrophic losses." Chen sat cross-legged in the void and spoke calmly. "Do not worry, seniors. If I let him succeed, I would betray the fortune this world has given me. He wants to divide into countless streams and devour all living beings. Then I will show him that when billions of lives unite, they possess a power just as extraordinary." Across the Great Thousand World, even peak heavenly sovereigns felt fear and helplessness before this force. But at that moment, spiritual light gathered above every continent, forming Chen's figure. "People of the Great Thousand World, heed my command. Let the heavenly evil god witness the power of our world's countless lives." At first, the response was scattered, but soon, the entire world trembled violently. Everyone released all their spiritual power into the sky. Chen smiled faintly. He formed a seal, and countless streams of spiritual energy surged toward him. But as they passed through his body, they transformed into something else entirely. The power of will. "Heavenly evil god, today I will let you witness the will of billions of lives in the Great Thousand World." Boundless willpower surged into the sky, colliding with the demonic currents. The entire world trembled violently. Under the overwhelming force of battle intent, the demonic currents began to collapse and were ultimately annihilated. "Chen, you deserve death." The heavenly evil god roared in fury. "Unfortunately, the one who will die today is you." Chen's gaze turned icy. He shot forward like a streak of light, entering the vast torrent of battle intent. With Chen's presence, the torrent surged even stronger, shattering the demonic currents completely. Lord Mu is unstoppable." Cheers erupted across every continent of the Great Thousand World. The complete fall of the heavenly evil god. Xiaoyan and Lin Dong's true names fully ascended onto the firmament list. As the Great Thousand World erupted in cheers, the army of the extraterrestrial evil race fell into turmoil. Panic spread across every face. Countless demonic currents shattered throughout the Great Thousand World, and faintly, the furious and unwilling roar of the heavenly evil god echoed. Extraterrestrial evil race, retreat. With his command, chaos completely engulfed their ranks. Space was torn apart by countless cracks, and all of them fled frantically toward the lower planes. Seeing this, the Flame Emperor and the martial ancestor shouted sternly, "All forces of the Great Thousand World heed my command. Pursue with full force. Drive every one of them out of our world." Yes, countless experts on the spiritual demon continent roared in response. In the next instant, endless streaks of light shot forth like a storm covering the sky. The Flame Emperor and the martial ancestor then turned toward Chen, who was seated cross-legged. At this moment, he slowly opened his eyes and said, "The aura of the heavenly evil god has disappeared. But don't worry. He has wreaked havoc in our Great Thousand World for tens of thousands of years. How could we let him leave safely?" As his voice fell, Chen extended his hand. Space shattered and torrents of battle intent roared in, gathering at his fingertip into a light sphere the size of a dragon's eye. "Go." With a flick of his finger, the light sphere tore through space and shot away as a stream of light. Space compressed infinitely. The world transformed into a chaotic void. Void winds raged violently, a place even the most powerful Sangrad experts would not dare enter lightly. Suddenly, ripples appeared in the chaos. A streak of black light flashed by and formed into a figure. It was the heavenly evil god. His face was gloomy as he gazed into the void. This was already the edge of the Great Thousand World. Beyond lay the world barrier. Tens of thousands of years ago, he had led the extraterrestrial evil race into this world from here. Yet now he was being forced to leave from the very same place. Damn Mu Chen, Flame Emperor, martial ancestor. I, the heavenly evil god, will never admit defeat so easily. I will return. But just as his voice fell, a streak of light burst forth from the space before him. Before he could react, the light sphere struck his forehead, directly hitting his evil eye. There was no earth-shattering explosion, only black blood splattered. The light sphere had shattered that evil eye completely. His body froze, disbelief filling his face. In front of him, space rippled and Mu Chen stepped out. He stared coldly at the heavenly evil god and said, "All living beings may be insignificant, yet they can still destroy you." The heavenly evil god's expression changed. Black blood flowed from the hole in his forehead. He sighed softly and muttered, "I never expected that I would fall in the great thousand world." Mu Chen replied calmly, "You ravaged our world for 10,000 years, triggering 2 great catastrophes and bringing ruin to countless lives. Today, you will repay that debt." The heavenly evil god murmured, "I once sought to conquer this world to strengthen my race. No, it should be called the Saint Race. But in the end, it was all for nothing." Saint Race, Mu Chen frowned slightly. "Is that your true name?" The heavenly evil god gave a faint smile. "If you must blame someone, then blame that person. His name is Yuan Zhou Yuan. If not for him, our saint race would never have been driven into your great thousand world. He is the one who truly owes you a debt." As his voice faded, cracks spread across his body. In the next instant, he exploded. Boundless demonic energy raged before finally dissipating into the void. Mu Chen waved his sleeve. Spiritual light spread, projecting the scene across every corner of the world. His voice echoed, "The heavenly evil god has been slain. The calamity of the great thousand world has ended. From this day forward, any who dare invade shall be annihilated." Thunderous cheers erupted across countless continents. The disaster had ended. Peace returned. The extraterrestrial evil race retreated in defeat. Though many escaped through lower plane passages, they had become scattered remnants. Without the heavenly evil god, they could no longer pose a great threat. After a year of recovery, the devastation faded. The great thousand world grew stronger than ever. And at this time, a grand wedding was held under the witness of countless beings at the Mu residence on the heavenly Luo continent. First bow to heaven and earth, second bow to the elders. Red lanterns hung high, festive music echoed for thousands of miles. Seated above were elders such as Qing Yanjing Mu Feng Luo Tian Shen, smiling as they watched the young couple. On both sides sat the Flame Emperor, the martial ancestor, and their families, along with many other great figures of the world. The entire world rejoiced. Time passed. 27 years went by in the blink of an eye. The great thousand world became increasingly prosperous. Countless powers rose and top experts emerged endlessly. Yet everyone knew there were still 3 unmatched figures standing above all. At the Mu residence, on a quiet green peak, Mu Chen rested lazily. Suddenly, a strange fluctuation spread across heaven and earth. The entire world trembled. Spiritual energy surged violently. Mu Chen stood up, gazing into the void as if seeing through space itself. He smiled faintly. The day has finally come. All beings sensed it and looked up. A vast light curtain descended from the heavens. It was the firmament list. In the distant, endless fire domain and martial realm, 2 majestic figures stood in the sky. Using their hands as brushes, they wrote with boundless spiritual light. On the firmament list, 2 names appeared. Xiaoyan, Lindong. On the green peak, Mu Chen cupped his fists and called out loudly, "Congratulations, seniors, for ascending the firmament list." The Flame Emperor and martial ancestor smiled, returning the gesture from afar. Cheers resounded across the world. Countless experts gazed in awe and admiration. From this day onward, the great thousand world once again had 2 supreme beings. All living beings bowed toward the 3 figures. With these 3 guarding it, the great thousand world would prosper for eternity, never to fall. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe It really motivates me to keep creating.